Today. So, on the count of three, everyone yell, happy birthday, Nate. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! Very well done. Give him a hand.
Thank you, everybody. So, I signed up over the weekend to do this, so I'm reading this bad boy. All right, here we go. Hey, kid. When I was a kid, my dad always wanted me to do everything correctly. He used to say, if it's not a toy, don't play with it like a toy. I always disobeyed him for some reason. I never got it. He would freak out and yell at me, scare me half to death, and after a while, I unintentionally developed a coping mechanism. My brain would turn off, my eyes would unfocus, and I would literally stare into nothing. I still do this. When I feel like I'm under attack, my brain shuts down and I end up in some world of a possum. It's interesting to me how our personalities are shaped from childhood. Why did it make me cry when everybody laughed that my mother converted my snowsuit into a sheet suit with a million cotton balls? For some reason, I never could wrap my head around doing things only because it's the way it's always been done. I question everything because there's always alternatives. There is always a road less traveled. I don't realize it at the time, but this would be a fundamental character defect that would ultimately bring me to a place where I feel like I'm really living and alive. A year and a half ago, I had a successful career with lots of responsibility, and life seemed like it was happening correctly. While waiting for a ride in a parked car after happy hour on a business trip, the police were looking for a white male in a black sedan. Although it wasn't me, I got a ticket for actual physical control of a vehicle while intoxicated, and that just means drinking and not driving. My employer had a zero-tolerance policy for alcohol-related driving offenses and a rental car, and instantly I became unemployed. Everything I worked for in the last 9 years had disintegrated and I felt completely empty. I had no plan, a mortgage, a wife, and 3 children under 5. I felt inadequate. For some reason, I go through these laws. It's like my brain needs time to recoup and reproduce some chemicals. Since I had to find a new job, I looked for one aligned with my outdoor hobbies. I looked at companies like Airstream. The common thing that made all these companies suck is that they were not located in Chattanooga. I had already fell in love with Chattanooga and East Tennessee and refused to move for work. While searching the marine industry, I stumbled on this jacked up looking boat. The ad said, looking for entrepreneurs to own and operate a cycle boat in the area, and yes, I also said, what the hell is a cycle boat? I thought, we have a body of water, we have a progressive culinary and craft beverage scene, and we're like an outdoor mecca. This will definitely work in Chattanooga. For some reason, I did not get anxious. Looking back, I'm fascinated. It wasn't a big deal to liquidate my 401k and buy a commercial boat. It's like I had someone whispering, build it when they will come. So I did it. I walked up to the cliff and I just jumped. Someone told me if it excites you and intimidates you, you're on the right path. One thing is for certain, you feel like you're in free fall forever. You can feel helpless and ask yourself, what did I get myself into? I was so incredibly excited to start cycle boating. I was hoping to get the boat by July last year, but it came in December. I think it was gifted that I got time to prepare. We somehow stumbled on a company called CO.STARTERS, hosting events and classes called the CO.STARTERS Summit. We attended the first day of class on Wednesday, and I learned that there was a week-long event called Startup Week Chattanooga. That second half of the week propelled me into orbit. I'll clean that up later, I promise. I learned that week Chattanooga has resources that make it easier to be successful. Most importantly, I learned that while the education is good, the people and the culture of entrepreneurship and innovation is amazing. So amazing, I thought it would be a brilliant idea to start 2 projects. I was worried sick someone was going to execute what I had in mind before I had the chance. Weekly Fig was born as our mission project. We knew that more people would buy local and demand more choices if it were convenient. So we joined a CO.STARTERS cohort and started business planning. Before long, we were invited to participate in the Wildest Flow pitch competition. We wanted Chattanooga to join us in a real food revolution. And then you get to a point where the money runs out and you want nothing more than to give 200%. You give all you can give and you sleep as little as possible, even though you know it's doing more damage than good. The tasks pile up and there are never enough hours in the day. Bootstrapping is hard, and I get to this point where I become numb. As life would have it, every possible challenge would present itself all at once. One of the biggest mistakes I've ever made was tending to business tasks while my kids were awake. Do you know what happens when you leave a 3-year-old and 1-year-old in a room with art supplies and styrofoam? This is also when everything expensive breaks. Murphy knows when to invade. Going through the past year taught me how much of a consumer I was. You realize how much crap you have when cleaning and maintenance is moved down on the priority list. This makes me reflect on how much time I spent maintaining and cleaning. In reality, these things I don't care about own me. So now we're in the process of getting rid of everything and right-sizing our environment. Life is a complex system of inputs and outputs. I made the mistake of coping by hitting the bottom. It only took me 17 years and realizing I have a lot of people counting on me and I to finally give it up. I do want to thank my wife for keeping her vows when better was worse, and Matt Scudler for giving me the courage to publicly acknowledge the need to escape the prison of alcohol. I finally figured out that my behavior and choices are not influenced by the joy given to me, but that people and places rely on me to grow and thrive. The last time I drank, I never felt closer to death. I had night sweats for 5 days. So today is special to me. 2016 has been so incredibly challenging. It sucked, but this year of failure has truly been a gift. It's like I was afforded an early midlife crisis, but recognizing the discomfort I've experienced this year collectively makes 2016 a success. Today I turned 35. Yeah, I wish. Going through this season has made me a better person. For the rest of my life, I can empathize with anyone going through similar hardships. When my employees are late to work, I know what it's like to have a POS card that poses a daily risk to slow me down. I know what it's like to not have childcare, health insurance, or diapers. I know what it means to look around your home and feel powerless and out of control. In the startup world, we often talk about success. We speak positivity into our own minds, but sometimes it's good to be transparent about failure. The Startup Award says it takes a village. It really does. Be vocal about failures and be actionable about encouraging your fellow starter. Inspire them to see beyond their failures. Motivate them to harness our community momentum and empower them to be intentional about integrating your dreams into a collective success story.